What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our Pac-12 football channel. We continue our FPI breakdowns with the USC Trojans. ESPN recently updated their FPI rankings for the 2020 college football season, and we're going to show you what they think about USC. Pretty high expectations for the Trojans from the FPI. We'll show you what their odds are to win the Pac-12, to make the college football playoff, and each individual game projection as well that is out there from the FPI. So here is their ranking. They're number 13 in the FPI, and they have a score of 17.9. That means on a neutral field against an average opponent, USC would win by 17.9 points on average. So they expect this team to be pretty good, the top team in the Pac-12 South, and I think there's a pretty good gap between USC and the next Pac-12 South team. So they are the favorites. We'll show you exactly how much they are favored by in just a second. But here is their win-loss projection. They have a pretty tough schedule. They have Alabama and Notre Dame in the non-conference. Anytime you have that, yeah, it's going to be pretty tough. But so they're projected to go about 9-3. This does include a Pac-12 championship game, so that's why it's more than 12 games. So yeah, 9-3 in the regular season, perhaps 8-4, and then winning a Pac-12 championship, somewhere along those lines. They have only a 0.3% chance to go undefeated, and that would include a conference championship game win. So 0.3%. So very, very unlikely that USC is going to go undefeated. And a big part of that, again, is because of their schedule. It's brutal, and if they go through that schedule and go undefeated, that's going to be pretty impressive. So 0.3% chance of winning out, a 98.9% chance to make a bowl game, and every team ahead of them is like 100% or 99.9 or 99.8. This is the first time we've seen a team be below 99% and get into a bowl game, but still, 98.9%, that is a very good number for USC. It's very unlikely that they miss a bowl game. What about winning the division? How about 61.5% chance that USC wins the Pac-12 South? That is a very high number, more than a 50% chance that this team wins. So I came into the offseason thinking that USC was probably the favorites. I thought, Arizona State, Utah might kind of be similar, but I've kind of gone along with this as well. The more I look at USC, the more I feel like they are the clear favorites in that division. And then a 27.8% chance to win the Pac-12. 27.8%. That's a pretty high number there. Oregon was at 58.5%. So you look at Oregon and USC, that takes up a huge chunk of the percentage. And those teams, again, are clearly the favorites in the Pac-12. Oregon's the clear favorite, but USC is the clear number 2 team. And then how about making the college football playoff, which is a 4.9% chance of doing that. We've seen a lot of the top teams with a higher playoff percentage than win conference percentage. This shows you that USC could very well win their conference and miss out on the playoff. It's very likely that if this team wins the Pac-12, they're still not going to make the college football playoff, probably because of their schedule, because you're looking at a couple of losses more than likely just because of the schedule. Even if they're a top 10 team, they have a 1.3% chance of making it to the national championship game. So not a great shot, but hey, it's a chance. There's a chance they could do it. Could this team potentially, probably not, but could they potentially make the playoff with 2 losses? If you lose it, maybe a close game to Alabama and then lose to, I don't know. It's going to be tough to do. But I guess with their schedule, it's possible. They have a 0.3% chance of winning the national championship, so less than 1%. They have the same percentage chance of going undefeated as they do winning a national championship. Both are very, very, very low. It is very unlikely that USC is going to be your national champion in this 2020 college football season. Let's look at the schedule now, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. You can see it's brutal. It is a brutal schedule. Alabama's there at 19.3%. Very unlikely that they win that game. And then Oregon, they only have a 31% chance of winning that game. Let's say they lose to Alabama and Oregon in very close games, and then they beat Oregon in a rematch, an undefeated Oregon team, and Alabama goes undefeated. There is a case. There's an argument that you can make for USC to actually be a playoff team with 2 losses. They would probably need to just blow everyone else out. It's very unlikely that they would get in. with the perception of the Pac-12, but you never know. You never know. They are favored against Notre Dame, 69.6% chance, so that one's pretty close. Utah's pretty close, just 60.9%. Stanford's actually pretty close, 68.1%. And I don't get this. The FPI does not like Arizona State. An 88.9% chance against Arizona State. That to me is one of the tougher games on the schedule. I realize it's a home game, but that's a high percentage. And Cal is a high percentage as well, 85.9%. So I don't really agree with those. But everything else on here, and I don't agree with Washington either. 80.4% against Washington. Those are some really high numbers, but we'll see if it turns out to be that way. Again, the FBI not as high on some of these Pac-12 teams as maybe some are. But USC projected to win the Pac-12 South, have a real good year, but not quite make it to the college football playoff. What do you think about their FBI ranking? Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned for more here on the SG1 Sports YouTube channel.